Bring your chin up a little bit. There's the rest. All right. Good job. The neck pain, I know you said that even before the accident, you felt like it was like...
It was radiating down into here.
Okay.
Which was, yeah.
Has it always been on this left side though?
Or
do you feel like it's been kind of spread out evenly?
It's been, I mean, it is both, but it is more this side.
On that side right there. Okay. Do you get it ever radiating up into the skull, like headaches at all, or is it just mostly just the neck here and the shoulders?
It's just a bunch of stiffness and lack of turning.
Okay.
You know, and then all the...
Yeah, and when you roll in the shoulders and you feel like that crunching noise, like where do you feel it at? Where does it stem from?
Well, I notice when I lay on a foam roller and I place it about here and I do that motion, it doesn't really do it as much.
Okay, but you're feeling it mostly it seems like right in that area. All right, you can take that on that. All right, so it seems like it's coming from the shoulder blades, and that's where you're feeling it at. Okay, so just taking a look at your back here. Let's take a look here. Okay. Yeah. So it definitely seems like you're
winging.
Yeah, it actually isn't winging too bad. Actually, that's what I was looking for, but it's not winging too bad. Doesn't mean there's not any scapular instability. I will tell you though, from looking at the scaps from the top here, it looks like the right side just might be a little bit higher here, but it's not terrible comparatively. Yeah, even looking at you from here, this side does kind of seem like it's coming up a little bit, which makes sense looking at your x-rays from right here. That's where your spine kind of kinks over to the side, so your shoulders are going to go with the ribs here as well. And then it does look like, looking from here, yeah, your ear's a little bit higher there. Okay. Yeah, so the hard thing, I will tell you, that knot that you feel on your left-hand side, that's pretty close to where that reverse curve starts to happen.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why you feel like they're bulging and like kind of like sticking out like that, because when you have that reverse curve, those muscles are very tight, very unstable, and that's going to be your weak spot where your neck has a lot of that's restriction going on.
Yeah.
Right there. Usually when you have that reverse curve, we're going to go from the bottom of that reverse curve, because if I work on the upper part, well, I'll show you a little bit about what's going on with that, but we usually stay away from the top of the reverse curve, just because those joints are usually dipping forward, and if I push that spine forward, that's where you're going to potentially get worse. We want to make sure that we stick to the ones that are pushing back.
Okay.
So I'll explain that in just a minute here.
So it resets properly?
Yeah, so we're going to kind of set the joints underneath it, and that's going to help to push the joints on the top where they need to be as well. Yeah, right there in the lower back here. Okay. So yeah, so I'll talk to you about that in just a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this is your C5. 6, 7, 6, 5. Any soreness or pain on those?
No.
Not too bad. I'll touch you over the side. Checking out the movement of those joints here. Yeah, it seems like C6 is where it gets stuck right there. 7, yeah, that's not moving too well either. Yeah, so you see how this one, how it's kind of tilting forward like that?
Yeah.
If I push that forward, then it's going to make that worse. This one underneath it's scooting back. So if I push that one forward, because it's slipped back, when I push that forward, the top one's going to scoop underneath it as well. So that's actually going to auto-correct with that bottom one. 7 doesn't move, but C6 looks like we're seeing that's a little bit more pressure on that bottom joint here. So that's also where we're seeing the reading is at C6 level. So we might actually move up to C6 and see how you do with that. And it's good that we have these extras because you see how close like the bones are here.
Yeah.
You see how spaced these are. So it's going to be pretty specific. It's going to be important that we're pretty specific to get right onto that joint right above it to scoop that underneath that.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that C6 today. I think that's where we're going to start. Just going to relax that shoulder. Let's see how easy this is for us. Good. And as you relax that shoulder, I'm going to be able to push a little piece. See if we can get a little bit more. Might be all we're going to get. Bring your chin up a little bit. There's the rest. All right. Good job. So this one, we're going to get onto that L5 right here. Good. Bring this hand back just a little bit. There you go. This one right onto your elbow. And roll you just a little bit. I won't drop you, okay? There you go. There it goes already. Relaxing that shoulder. There you go. Relax. Nice and easy on that. Good. All right, man. Coming up. Okay, I want you to go and stand for me. I want to have you walk from here back to the chairs and back and forth. And then we're going to rescan your spine and see how that looks, okay? So keep going. Good. Alright. So just with that, any difference, any goodness, difference, soreness, what are you feeling right now?
I mean, I can feel this one here a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going, keep walking it off a little bit. One more time to the chairs, you're gonna have a seat. We're gonna
feel it slightly here, yeah.
Yeah, so especially with that lower back, remember how it's so arched in that lower back?
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to change that. So once we get that joint to move, your body's like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad thing. It's actually could be a good thing here. So
Okay.
let's have a seat. Let's kind of be standing here. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Oh, that cleared up really nicely. Good, okay. Let's take a look here. Good. Yeah, good. So that's starting to clear up a little bit too. So here's what I want you to start doing for me. We need to get some movement in the joints. We need to get some walking, okay?
Okay.
Which, I mean, it sounds like you get a lot of walking with your job and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of your spine, so there's a couple things that we did, right? So the first one that we worked on is going to be your C6 here, right? So this is the one you have that reverse curve. So we're working underneath it because we're trying to push that spine forward to get that reverse curve out. How much we're going to be able to correct this, I'm not really sure. But if we can get pressure off of that joint, moving it forward, that's going to help to alleviate some of that pressure that you're feeling. Especially on this one, this is where your muscles are getting really locked up, really knotted there.
Yeah.
So if we can alleviate some of that pressure on that joint, moving that joint forward, that's going to help those muscles to relax as well, okay?
Okay.
The other thing that we did was your lower back. And again, this is going to be the L5 right here.
Yeah.
Remember how I told you your pelvis kind of dips forward like that?
Yeah.
We're trying to stabilize that joint. We will need to work on that sacrum eventually as well, but right now we worked on your L5 to see if we can get that cleared up as well, okay? So let's see how that does. So like I said, what I want you to start doing is get some walking in if you can, because walking, it's going to allow that joint to keep moving here. So we started the process by getting that joint to move. Walking is going to help that process to continue, okay? The other thing is if you feel any aches or soreness like that, ice is your best friend, right? We're doing work to the body. We're changing some things, especially in your neck. If you feel some of the soreness or achiness, ice is your best friend. So 15 to 20 minutes.
So no heat or?
I would not use heat right now.
Okay.
You could use heat later on, but right now I want you to just use some ice because
Okay.
ice is a vasoconstrictor. So anytime you have a vasodilator, it brings in more fluid into the joint. A vasoconstrictor, which is ice, it's going to vasoconstrict it, and the blood vessels are going to push out some of the inflammation.
Okay.
So we're trying to get the inflammation out of the joint. So ice, 15 to 20 minutes, and you can do that every couple of hours if you need to.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So ice and walking, those are the two things I want you to focus on.
What about running? Is that cool or no?
Do you typically run?
I mean, not a lot, but I like to as well.
Okay, so if you don't typically run, I would say give me a couple weeks so I can start to figure out your body. Because if you add something new to your routine,
Yeah.
and then you come back in next time, you're like,
change
oh,
it.
I'm so sore.
Yeah.
Well, was it from the running or was it from, the adjustment? So I want to
Oh,
figure out
okay,
your body
okay.
as quick as
Okay.
possible. So just give me 2 weeks, but walking, light jogging if you really want to do some jogging.
Okay.
But I would really just focus on the walking and then getting some ice. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Welcome to the office, man.
Thank
Glad
you.
that you're here.